Yeah. Here they are again. Goodbye. I really miss you.
This is Jeannie again. She wants to say a few more words, so I'm going to try to put her on.
This is Jeannie speaking. I'm going to the Ottawa and Toronto exhibition, and maybe sometime you may get to come down to the cottage, and we can go in the boat and catch a whole bunch of sunfish. And I'm looking forward to Cindy, Kathy. Karen coming down.
And Sandy.
And Sandy. Karen and Sandy coming down to Toronto with me sometime. And for a visit, and I want to come up and visit them sometime. And my mother would like to speak sometime to you.
Before the tape was ended, I was going to let the kids go at it and do a lot of talking, and I'm sure your children will enjoy that, listening to Cindy and everybody else, and maybe they'll do better than the grown-ups, because we all seem to be a little backward. Right now, Mom had a brain wave. She wanted somebody to go and get her a big Barney, or a big something else, I don't know. A big Barney, and it's not a big Barney, it's a big what? Well, I think I screwed that one up. She asked for a big Benny, and I want to find out who the hell he was. But it is a big Barney anyway. And Leonard is gone with Jackie and the rest of the children to get a big whatever you may call it. And tonight I think we'll go to the X and walk around and spend 10 cents on the bingo game and then come home again. Tomorrow, if we don't go to the cottage, we'll try to get Bill and Pat here and John and a few others and do a little bit of talking so we can mail this tape to you. But before it's finished, I'll tell you all about the cottage and the fish that we catch and so on. Now I'm going to let Marlon have a talk with you. Sorry.
Well, this is me. Stump for words when you get on a recorder. I'll speak for Leonard, too, because he's too shy to say anything. Well, I hope all you people are well, and it was really, really nice to listen to you on the tape. Makes you feel like you're right here. And I hope it won't be too long till you will be back home, and we can have those parties you were talking about. Get quite a kick out of Cindy's beautiful singing. Well, the children are all well and growing, and they all passed last year, and I hope they'll do as well this year. And for the first time in 12 years, I'm going to have a free holiday. Gary will be going to school in September, and he'll be going all day. He's going to have half a day of French and half a day of English, if he can take it. Well, Maria, I hope that you're back on your feet again real soon, and try and keep well. Well, I'm sort of stumped for words to say, so I'll say goodbye to everybody, and hope we'll see you real soon. Bye.
Well, this is Mum speaking again. I just wanted to... Muriel came down she wanted to come down for all the month of August, and so she was down for nearly 2 weeks, I guess, and Roger and Ines wanted her to go up for a couple of days, and so she drove up. She was a little nervous and driving on the highway, but she got up there fine, less than an hour, and they went to a little fair that night, and then the next morning they got up and had breakfast, and of course little Debbie there, she's 17 months, and she's everywhere at once. She's up in the chair, she's on the table, she's into everything, and she's cute as a button. She's really beautiful. She's not a heavy child, and not too tall, but she's just like a big doll. And she took she was standing right in front of their eyes, and she took some kind of a turn. They didn't know what it was. They rushed her to emergency and that, but so the doctor said he wouldn't say anything without tests. But anyway, she didn't seem to lose consciousness, but she couldn't stand on her legs and hold her head up very good, which doesn't look very good at all. She had fell in Toronto. At least they thought she had fell. She was in the hall, and Muriel was at the bingo, and Pidge was minding them, and he was sitting on the Chesterfield, and he thought she had fell because she kind of cried out, and so he told her to come to him, and then he got up and looked, and he saw her down on the floor. He picked her up and stood her on her feet, and she just fell down again. So he got scared stiff, and he rushed her to emergency. He also called the police to go to the bingo and tell Muriel to phone home that there was emergency. And she thought it was Jeannie that was hurt again, because Jeannie's got hurt so many times and ended up in an emergency. Nothing terrible bad, but stitches here and there, hitting the coils with her head and that. And so then when she phoned home, he said it was Debbie. So they looked her all over and couldn't find a thing, and took her home, and she was fine within an hour and that. So then Muriel was beginning to think maybe it was just a turn like what she took at Roger and Ines. But Ines was so upset. Her nerves are a little bad this year, and she just about went hysterical. And Roger came home and got his own lunch because they weren't home from the emergency yet. And so then they came in, and the doctor there gave her a bottle of phenobarb for her to give her 3 times a day to keep her quiet. And he said that she should go into the hospital for tests. So Muriel phoned her doctor in Toronto, and he said as soon as she came, to enjoy her weekend, and Pitch was coming down on Tuesday, so he came down and he took her home Wednesday, took her back. But Janet was going to take Jeannie on the Thousand Island trip because with Johnny. She wasn't going to take her, but she got her in with Johnny for the Parks Division. Apparently they take so many each week, and it's very reasonable. I think they paid $1, I think, for each child. And so Jeannie was all excited, and she wanted to stay down. So Muriel went and took the baby up, thinking that she might have to be at the hospital quite a bit with her. And so anyway, the next morning, Jeannie got up, and she had a real sore ear, and it all down the side of her neck, and she was crying and that. So she wanted to come here, so John brought her over here. Well, she never moved out the Chesterfield, only twice to go to the bathroom, so I was scared stiff, in August and that, and you worry about meningitis and stuff, and I thought, oh my God, that's all Muriel would need. So by the afternoon, I phoned the doctor and took her in at 5:45, and he said, well, he didn't like the idea of it being down her neck and but he thought it was just infected ear and glands and that, which I think it turned out to be because she's quite well again. But he gave me some real good medicine for her, and I gave it to her. And so by last night she was getting up and sitting up a bit, and she talked to her mother, and she didn't cry or anything, and she was a lot better. Her neck was a little sore yet, but other than that, she wasn't too bad. But I had to lift her up with the pillow because her neck was so sore, and I think she's spoiled, and a little bit. And she wanted lots of attention and that, but other than that, she's really came along good. And she went to sleep last night and slept right through till 9 o'clock this morning. The night before, she kept Jackie up half the night. And so today she's just fine. She's outside playing, and I think it's just when she thinks of it that she says it's a bit sore, but she still has medicine for 2 or 3 days yet, so by the time she finishes that, she'll be fine. So we phoned Muriel last night, and she told us that she couldn't get the appointment with I guess he's a neurologist, or neurosurgeon or something till the 1st of September. So she was a bit upset when she found out that Jeannie was sick, but I told her she was fine then, and she talked to her and laughed on the phone, so she knew she wasn't that bad. And but she thought oh my God, she says, I got a bunch of healthy kids. But she felt good as long as she said that as long as she had the medicine, and that she knew she wasn't too bad. And so she's going to come back down on the bus on Monday and stay for a week, and then Pidge will come down the next Monday night or Tuesday morning, and they'll have to go back, I think, Tuesday afternoon or early Wednesday morning, because she has the appointment, I think, for the afternoon of the 1st. And I sure hope it isn't anything too bad, but it's got to be looked into, and I think she's finally came around to that. Poor kid, she was so upset after the thing of the inuses that she cried for 2 days and really felt terrible, but I think she began to realize now that well, I don't know what you call it, but I think they all think it's what you call a petit mal. And if it's checked, I think, right in the beginning, I don't think it'll last or go on, you know. But it has to be looked after. Well, that's about all the bad news, I think. I think everything else is pretty good, you know, and around here. And they're going to have to put a new roof on the house. But we want to get somebody to put it on, the boys, Roger and Len, and them. They want to put it on because it'll, from what price they give us at Simpson Sears was $571, and they figured they can get the shingles for $200, so they said, why give them $400 for nothing? And so now Marilyn just told me to tell you that she enjoyed your guitar playing and Ricky's and Donald's and the piano and everything, which we all did very much. We think they were very talented. And if everybody wasn't quite so shy, I don't know why we couldn't have a darn good sing-song, which we haven't had, I think, since she left. And but I know Cindy was so embarrassed when they played back the thing that she ran in the house, but I thought she did a wonderful job. And Sandra did too with her little song, and I'm sure Karen and Ricky could come out with some good ones. And that I won't sing you the Little Wren Hen. Not this time anyway. But you never know what I might come out with just for the laugh of it.
Is it going now? Hi there. This is Muriel. Yeah, well, I got a picture of Jeannie and Debbie I'm going to send you, but I'll wait until Debbie goes to the hospital on next Wednesday. We find out what she's got. And then maybe I'll send the kid, too, because I sure have enough sick kids. I'm fed up with them, but anyways, as soon as we find out what she's got, I'll write and let you know, and I'll send the picture along at the same time. And everything's fine up in Toronto, if you like the big city, and no relatives or anything like that. But anyways, we're doing okay up there. So listen, I'm going to try and get Debbie to talk, but I wouldn't guarantee it. Just a minute.
Deb.
Danny.
Hello?
Where's Danny?
I want to say something.
Say hi. Say hi, yeah. Hi.
Say hi, yeah.
Well, anyways, that was it. You can't, she does say hiya, and she calls Danny and Nana and stuff like this, but there's no way, so she just fell and hit her head, so we better stop. Just a minute, Jeannie will talk.
This is Jeannie. Danny's in, Nana's house, and he's gonna be talking, and, Anna slipped over with Danny, and, Kathy's at, any pants, and, we slept in the sleeping bags, and, my daddy's coming back to get us, and my sister didn't say very much because, like, might hear a little bit of grunting when she comes, because she's very little, and she's gonna be 2 pretty soon, and she pulled half of the Christmas tree down last year. I did one a clown, a record, and a whole bunch of things, and a whole bunch of things at the exhibition. And I went on a few rides, and I got a candy apple, and it's sitting in the freezer. And we were stuck in the rain, so that every now and then we would have to go into the rain to play bingo and to go in buildings to look around. And Debbie's something right now, and she's giggling when the dog did.
Hi, this is Danny. Debbie wouldn't talk, but she might talk again later. When I was up at the cottage, I only caught one trout all year, and I was on a creek and a bunch of bees came after me, but I'm okay now. And Debbie and Jeannie are okay now, and I might sign up for my first year of football. Today is my mother and father's anniversary. Say hello to Donald and Ricky for me and tell them I miss them very much, and Karen and the rest of them. Bye. He's fine.
Try to talk.
Hi, folks. This is Ina. I really don't know what to say in this thing, but I hope I come out with a few things anyway. Well, Marie, I hope you're fine, and you come out of the operation very well. I'm sure you will, and if you take care of yourself. And everybody's fine here, and the kids are growing like bad weeds, and Kathy's really getting big. I hope you got their pictures, which I haven't heard from you for a while, but I guess you haven't had time. Well, Marie, as far as our side of the family, I hope they're all well. I don't hear from too many of them. I tried to go and see Connie last night, but she wasn't home. And Purette was down this summer, but I didn't get around to seeing her. They celebrated Aunt Marie and Uncle Alec's anniversary, 50th wedding anniversary, on the 14th of August, but we weren't able to make it because Roger had to go to Montreal for that week. And we couldn't get down, but I'm sure that they had a good time. And today is our 18th wedding anniversary, and Roger and I went out last night. We had a nice evening. And we went out for a steak supper later. It was very enjoyable, and I really had a good time. Well, kids, maybe I'll talk to you later, but I feel very embarrassed here talking in this thing, and I can't think of what to say. But, oh yeah, by the way, I had to get some glasses, so I hope that's the last thing that I have to get done. Wasn't what I should have said is, well, kids, I think I will have to say goodbye because I really am getting all buggered up here. And I really enjoyed the tape, and I hope we hear from you again. And it's really a great little machine, and it's very nice to hear the kids and all. And goodbye and good luck for now.
I think this darn thing is running. Hi, it's Roger. Hope everybody's well. We are. And as usual, when you get a mic stuck in front of me, I can't think of a god darn thing to say. There's not much to report that's new around here, except that we've been busy and out of trouble and managed to spend all the money. And I suppose that's standard procedure. I understand Marie's had her plumbing jobs all completed now, and hope there's no leaks or anything. It turns out good, though. It's great for national pastime and all. My wife's making faces at me here. At any rate, I understand you folks are going to be back next year, so time has a way of flying. It doesn't seem like you've been gone all that long. That doesn't sound like we missed you either, but that isn't quite the case. Anyway, when you get back, we'll have a few drunks and get caught up. Time does seem to fly like this year is gone, but fast. It seems like we just got rid of the snow and we're expecting it again. Well, it seems I don't have a hell of a lot that's constructive to add to this tape, so I'll just say we miss you and we look forward to you getting home, and we'll see you soon. Best of luck to all.
Well, children, this is me again, and I think it's going to be pretty hard to get anybody else to talk, so therefore I'm going to try and finish this tape once for all and send it to you, because I'm sure by this time you must think that we have forgotten you and we are not interested. On the contrary, I am very, very interested, so is everybody else, but they find it a little hard and they're shy about talking on the tape, and so I'm going to try and finish it off by myself and send it to you. As we've all said before, we all miss you, and this is, believe me, from the bottom of our heart. And right now, I wish you were all here, because I'll tell you what I'm doing. It is now September the 4th, and it's about 11:30 in the morning, and I am sitting alone on the wharf fishing, catching fish, and I wish that Eddie and Marie and all the children were sitting beside me and enjoying a good swim. The weather is perfect, the water is beautiful, and we are enjoying this cottage very, very much, and we certainly wish that you were here to enjoy it. But I'm sure that by next June you'll be able to take part in all this, and I hope you enjoy the cottage as much as we do. If we're going to talk about fishing, I might tell you that from last night at 8 o'clock till this morning, I've already caught 5 trouts, which I am putting in the deep freeze for later on this winter. I already have 14 at home, so this winter we can eat them and remember the good old summer days. Last Sunday we restocked the lake. We put 2,000 beautiful little trout, 1,000 rainbows and 1,000 speckles, and right now what I do is I see them swimming around the wharf, so I get some bread and some hamburg steak and I feed them and try to make them grow a little faster or something, and I'm sure they'll be nice catching this year or next year. Last year we put in 2,000, and these seems to be the one that we are catching at the present time, and they're beautiful fish. They go about a pound and a half, and oh, they're so nice and tender that makes your mouth water just to think about them. As far as big ones, there are big ones in the lake. Roger and Art caught one 7.5 pounds, and a couple of weeks ago there's a man at Wall's Cottage caught a 5.5 pound speckled, and then one guy that came over to joint board the canoe, and he was only on the water about 5 minutes, and he caught a 6.5 pound rainbow. So as you can see, the lake is well stocked. We have big fish and medium fish and smaller ones, so we have some for all taste, and if we keep this up, keep stocking the lake every year, I'm sure that we should all have good fishing. And don't feel bad, Eddie, because when you get down here, you're going to chip in like the rest of us to stock the lake. I'm maybe only kidding, but as you know, we have a big family, and we do a lot of fishing, like Bill and John and Leonard a little bit, Roger and Philip and everybody else. I don't know if I've missed any, but we feel that we should pay 2 shares rather than 1 share, and as you know, we don't have too many members, so therefore it is kind of hard to round up $350 every year to stock the lake. So we decided to throw in 2 shares from this cottage, and we'll touch you up whenever you come down. And I'm sure, like everybody else, you'll be more than pleased to maybe throw in $10 to catch 1 fish or something like that. I know it would be cheaper to go to La Pointe's Fish Market, but it's always the pleasure of catching them. And as you remember, you've caught a few, and I'm sure that you enjoyed doing it very, very much. Therefore, it's not so much the cost, but the pleasure that you get out of it. This weekend, we came up, just Mom, Aunt Ruby, and myself. And last night, I sat on the wharf here till about, around 10:30, smoking and having a beer, and caught 4 nice trout, while Mom and Aunt Ruby were upstairs playing canasta. And when Aunt Ruby around, that's about all that you can do is play cards, because she's card crazy. So I thought I'd stay away from her for a while, but they nabbed me when I went up around 10:30, and we had to play a few games. But finally I went to bed and let them play by themselves, and I don't know what time they hit the bed, but I was sound asleep anyway. And this morning we all got up around 8 o'clock, and first thing I came down to the wharf, and believe it or not, I had a nice trout on the line, and one line was quite tangled up, so I sat down here for about an hour untangling it, because I'm too miserable to buy a new one. And anyway, it passes the time when you have nothing else to do. And right now, Mom and Aunt Ruby are still upstairs. I don't know if they're playing cards, but I imagine that's what they're doing. And I would rather sit here on the wharf and watch my lines, see if there's any fish on them. And I have a good book with me. And another thing that I am enjoying very, very much, I don't know if I would thank you for it, is this beautiful set of binoculars that you sent me. And believe me, around the lake here, it's really, really nice, because, as you know, the lake is not too big, and with the binoculars you can see, quite often wild ducks or wild geese at the far end, and maybe a beaver or 2, and watch birds and everything else. And also look at the trees, the leaves, which are starting to turn already. I can see right now a beautiful red maple, and I'm telling you, the sight is something for sore eyes. And with these binoculars that you sent me before, it's really nice to watch the birds flying around, or the woodpecker in his nest up in a dead tree here beside the wharf, and watch the chipmunks come down and eat from the feed that I bring along. Of course, you know, I've always done that, and it still costs me about $25, $30 a year just for grain and feed, and I have feeding stations for the birds practically all over the place. And I really enjoy sitting down and watching them. And sometimes Mother thinks I'm crazy, because I have a feeding station right beside the stairs coming down to the wharf. And there's a nice big brown squirrel that goes in there. And when I walk down the stairs, he's generally in the feeding station, which is about 2 feet from where I go by. And I stop there, and he pokes his head out of the hole, and I talk to him, and he looks at me with big brown eyes, wondering what the hell I'm talking about. And anybody else that might hear me, they'll think, well, he must have flipped the lid. But nevertheless, I enjoy these little things, so therefore, why not do them? It's a little hard to tell you the changes that we made at the cottage. Possibly you've seen them all. I don't remember what we had when you left, but in case you don't know, we have a big wharf beside the small one, and we have what I call a boat house where we keep all the fishing gear and the life jackets and the floats and the boat and everything else. So therefore, it's very, very handy. And sometimes if I'm sitting down here and it's raining, I just sit in the boat house and with the doors wide open and just watch the rain fall down on the lake. And it's really beautiful and peaceful. But I think we did have that boathouse when we left, so therefore I won't elaborate on it. As far